Hey there, Postal here. Didn't want to interrupt the guy. We might struggle heartily in this first battle in our Meteor. So we were fortunate enough to have this particular plane gifted to us. I posted a video about a month ago. And it was on the P228 called Pudgy Meteor. Got a few responses in regards to how I didn't realize you didn't have a Meteor. This is literally the first shots I've ever fired out of this plane. Well, it's a little bit more maneuverable than I assumed it would be, actually. And I was fortunate enough to have not just one person want to gift me a plane, but actually two. And so, yeah, pretty nice, right? However, I literally just accepted it.
The command center is ours. Establishing communication.
Because, well, I mean, as you probably know, I've had a crap ton going on in my life. Let's see if I can't. What can I do here? Did not aim far enough forward. What is this guy doing? What are you doing, sir? Am I invisible? Do I have my special invisible I'm recording a video for YouTube paint on? No, I've got my speed paint on. Which means, unfortunately, now I'm headed to the center where this guy's going to respawn. So let's just kind of make a boost through here. This guy off. So, where was I? Things to do, people to shoot. Yeah, I two different people. SgtZak was the second one to offer it to me. Zak's an awesome guy, but SleepyWeasal was the first person to submit the request to me as a gift. And I always feel weird about accepting gifts, but I really liked SleepyWeasal's message, and you know, I'm glad that I was able to help out with accelerating his gameplay. I'd like to hope that I've done that for a handful of people out there. I know I'm learning more every day, and so if I'm able to pass some of that knowledge on, some of my pain points, to allow other people to be better pilots, all the better. So thank you, SleepyWeasal. Thank you, SgtZak, as well, even though I declined yours. Still greatly appreciated. It's mind-blowing how awesome the community is. So I've gone ahead and got my Meteor set up. We'll take a look at it back in the... I don't really like doing what I'm doing here. Take a look at it back in the hangar in just a second here. Hopefully we've got a reasonably good first game. Fingers crossed. I'm in a Tier 8 battle against a P-80A, which can't possibly be good, other than the fact that I was invisible or something initially. Just a joke, obviously. I don't know why he wasn't just shooting the crap out of me, is my point. P-80A should own me a million times over. It's got the speed, got the maneuverability. Speaking of speed and maneuverability, let's take advantage of our speed. We do not have a maneuverability over very many people at all. So what we want to do in this kind of situation is definitely just boom and zoom. Keep our zoom on for as much as possible. You know, on paper I would think that this plane is going to be better built for taking on heavy fighters. It really doesn't have the maneuverability that you'd want to go against other fighters. It's got pretty darn good speed, all things considered. It's got really good guns. Somebody told me these are the same guns as that are on the Vampire. I don't know if that's true. I'll have to confirm when I get back into the hangar. But they certainly hit hard. The IL-20 died. Well, never mind then. Came all over here for nothing. Oh, we seem to be doing okay. We've got an IL-10M that's doing some work. We need to get over here. Oh, they got a B-29C. Holy crap. Things went from bad to worse. do I need to? Can I? Okay, we should be able to get that whether I'm there or not. It doesn't look like anybody's over there harassing our bombers and ground attackers. Against a B-20, being under-tiered against a B-29 and a P-80, I don't mind if we get air supremacy. I will take it 100 times out of 100. Simply because, I mean, we've all been against a B-29. We've all been in a Tier 7 battle against B-29s. No es funno. So let's go ahead and let's play some defense a little bit here. Go. I don't know where the enemies are, but let's take advantage of what we can. I'd love to kill that IL-8, but I really need to kill the heavy fighter first, right? Right? I'm actually gonna need to kill this guy first. Go. Man, this frickin' pancake is just being a huge pain in my butt. Just running away, running away, running away. The flaming pancake. Make sure he's dead. And this is where I felt like I'd be the best suited, going for these heavy fighters. Really get a Hero of the Sky badge in my first battle in a Meteor? This plane on paper just doesn't look all that good. And again, we'll discuss it a little bit more in the hangar. What the hell is going on?
Don't let them gain a foothold.
Rear gunners on these ground attackers are just hurting my life.
Bomber squadron detected. Engage them immediately.
I mean, it's not killing B-29s, but it's killing ground attackers. So what we want to do is keep putting pressure on the enemies at this point. Not allowing them to get comfortable. Ooh, I don't like this. Oh, he's on fire. That's good. It's never a bad thing. Let's go defend the center a little bit here. F2G can almost certainly outmaneuver me. Let's actually get the Dora. Gonna hit pneumatic control assist. We're running out of time here. The battle's almost over. P-80A just kind of let me do my thing, and shame on them for letting me do my thing.
Be advised, the enemy is concentrating forces near the airfield. Victory is ours. We're waiting for your return.
Unexpected. Completely unexpected. We gotta do another battle, because that seems like a one-off, doesn't it? Let's head back. Alright, so we're back in our second game now in the Meteor. This is actually, so, you know, last battle was a Tier 8 battle. You'd think it'd be one of the worst kind of matchups when I went into it, thought it would be. Now I'm in a Tier 7 battle. It actually looks like it's a reasonably good matchup, which means I'll probably get my ass handed to me. So let's go ahead and let's see what we can do in a favorable matchup in the Meteor. I'm still reeling from the previous one, so why has the paint scheme got a French flag on the tail? Somebody will have to tell me that. Alright, let's use the boost. And why am I not going to the center? Because I'm an idiot. Let's just turn and burn here. Whatever, I mean, get the heck out of Dodge. What I like about the Meteor is its maneuverability isn't absolute crap. On paper, it's pretty bad. But in reality, it's, I mean, don't get in a dogfight, but it's not the worst thing. In a pinch, I can turn. And that's always nice. Let's head to the center. Now, the P-51D is definitely going to have, it's going to have altitude on me, and it probably actually even has maneuverability on me. So I need to save my boost. So that way I can super boost, add a dodge if need be. It does seem like the Meteor loses its speed relatively quickly. Let's see if I can knock out this Key 88. Oh look, the Japanese plane's on fire. I don't think he's going to completely burn out though, so let's see if I can flip over here. He should burn out completely now if I don't kill him first. I don't like going after planes that aren't in sectors, but I don't like having planes that I leave behind me to kill me, so I guess we kill an XP-75. Let's get down and dirty. Let's lose some altitude here. Talk about saving my boost, and there's Postal saving his boost. It's down to 2 seconds of it. Oh good, we got the sector. And these are some chunky boy guns, aren't they? Really do some damage. Let's get this Ju-88P knocked out. Nice. Let's go get this multi-roll knocked out. P-47N I shouldn't have too much issue with, especially at super low health. Let's go get this IL-2 knocked out. Doesn't feel good to be him, does it? I'm going to move along. I'm actually going to go after these bombers. Let's see how well the 420mm cannons do against things like bombers. Obviously, they do pretty well against ground attackers and against heavy fighters. Let's see what we can do in a less than favorable situation. Actually, probably need to knock out this mosquito first. Let's do that. Meteor's gonna be pretty darn good anti-heavy fighter plane. She kind of assumed it would be. I assumed that was gonna be its niche, and it's certainly lived up to that, and then some. Man, these cannons are just. You know what this reminds me of, honestly? This reminds me of the Mustang 1. Is it the 1A? I always get it mixed up. But the one that has 420mm cannons. And on paper, it just looks like not a very good plane. It looks like a weak P-51A, which should be mind-blowing to anybody that's flown the P-51A in this game. It has worse maneuverability, worse altitude, worse speed. And yet, the 20mm cannons on that plane make it the more fun plane to play, because you've just got the ability to absolutely wreck lives.
The military base. There are too many enemy aircraft.
And so 20mm cannons, man, that's where it's at. If you don't know, now you know. Oop, I think I screwed this up. 20mm cannons for not hitting. I've used pneumatic control assist because he definitely can outmaneuver me. As he just showed there, even with pneumatic control assist and a broken wing on him, I wasn't 100% sure I was going to survive that. So let's get this guy knocked out. Go. Let's go back and attack the center here, shall we?
The enemy is launching rockets at us from the military base. Take action.
Wow, is that what they do at the military base, dude? Yeah, taking on heavies is like easy squeezy in this plane, for sure. They're slowly kicking our butt here. So let's,
communication with the headquarters established.
Unfortunately, you know, even though I'm knocking out these planes, watch out, dude. we are losing the center anyway. So what I need to do is we need to keep on attacking the center here. J4M.
Be advised, a line of thunderstorms is approaching. We'll soon be unable to provide
I'd like
support.
to think I can outmaneuver this guy. J4M, yeah, I should be able to outmaneuver him. Come on, he's like one of the least maneuverable tier 7 multi-rolls in the game. Alright, so we've got our boost. Let's use our boost. Knocked out his engine. Now we turn around. Oop, I turned around too quickly. Go. Got lucky that I didn't die there. Oh shoot. Oh no, I'm in a bad place.
Keep it up. Victory is almost ours.
I'm in a very bad place. No. Black, stop shooting at me. Please. Oh, I'm on precariously low health. I don't like this at all. This XP75 that I've owned, like, throughout the game is probably going to kill me now. Come on, guns. You've been doing so good. Let's continue to do so good, shall we? There we go, perfect. Whew! Alright, I'm feeling more confident now. We still have a mosquito inbound. Excellent. Let's keep moving along here. Alright, is that... yeah, it is my friend in the P51. Is he paying attention? He's not. Let's make him regret that. Let's boost on down. Boost on away. I think we've got this one won. Knocked out his wing. Keep on moving here. Out of boost, unfortunately. We can angle down. Oh, he knocked out my engine. Now I am toast. I'm 100% toast now. Yep, J4M was going to get me. Are we going to win this? Hopefully, the center's still owned, so we should be winning this. Put myself in a... oh, never mind. We're definitely going to win it. Phew. But I wanted to keep putting pressure on them so that way they were either not going to get that sector or they're kind of forced to stay in that sector longer than they should. To win the game, they need to just keep capturing. They can't defend any sector. And so by keeping them in that sector, it helps them. What the heck is this plane? What have I been gifted? A skinny P228, it feels like. Let's head back. Alright, so maiden flight of the Postal Monkey Meteor here. 24 kills. Don't even, like, that was an odd 24 kill game. I'm still working on the P38L, so you can see I'm still working on this this particular mission. So 5,000 damage to aerial targets. Just like peppering them. Really led the way there. Not that the IL-10 didn't do anything. Obviously, we need the IL-10 to do something if we're going to be countering a B-29C. Really, in my opinion, this P-80A, at a certain point, once I'm getting to like 10,000 personal points, if I'm that P-80, like, if the enemy Meteor is getting 10,000 personal points and I'm in a P-80A, I'm going, that Meteor is going to be dead. I got to go find him and get him out of the game. But I was left to my own devices, and apparently my own devices in a Meteor can be a good thing. Of course. So the second battle here was... my dog's wondering why I'm laughing so much, because I'm senile is why I'm laughing so much. So 19 kills as a postal medal in my world. 5,500 damaged aerial targets, same amount of damaged aerial targets again. Damage to ground targets. I guess I accidentally shot the ground somewhere along there and ended up dying. Got another Marseille out of this. And so if this is teaching me anything, it's this plane really needs to lean in on its speed, but don't completely disregard your maneuverability, right? Plane's got okay maneuverability. You saw me, turning with some planes that weren't paying attention to me. You've got just enough maneuverability to do that. If I was in the 302, I would not have been able to hang with some of those planes and turn on them. Kind of odd, the balance that this plane has. So let's take a quick look at the setup I've got. I did this setup just based on what I thought the plane was going to do for me. And, the results kind of speak for themselves, I suppose. Great thing about having any premium plane in World of Warplanes is as long as you've got a pilot of that nation, it can get tossed in there, right? I've got my Swift pilot in this plane right now, but the reality is I could put my Javelin pilot in here, I could put my Hunter pilot in here, I could put my Mosquito pilot, whatever I'm in the mood to build up a little bit. But do keep in mind, my Swift pilot has Marksman 2. It's got Aerodynamics and Aerobatics Expert, so it is helping the maneuverability a little bit and helping the speed a little bit more. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the actual build that I've got. So as far as my consumables are concerned, standard consumable setup, and I'm going to stick with it. First aid package I always have on all my fighters. I want to get my pilot back in there so the accuracy of the guns is built back up. I was hesitant about the pneumatic control assist, but I've used it so much in the last 2 games, I'm really liking it. It allows you to be more maneuverable for 10 seconds. That's very helpful on a plane that's not that maneuverable. I thought maybe, instead of pneumatic control assist, going with the emergency control system. But the fact of the matter is the pneumatic control assist is going to get you out of trouble more often than getting your wings or tail put back in. I didn't really get my engine knocked out too much. Now, I guess this was only 2 battles. And so, don't know if that's, just an anomaly or if these engines do get knocked out. Engine cooling is the way I went. I would recommend that at this point. Manual engine restart wouldn't have really done me any good in these battles, so yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that. We'll see as I build this plane up if I go with the manual engine restart or if I go all in on the speed with the improved mixture control. But last but not least, I've got universal ammo. It's a premium plane. You're going to earn those credits back and then some, so universal ammunition is recommended. This is my basic setup for any fighter, whether it's a turn fighter or a burn fighter. In this kind of situation is really good balance for the consumables for the Meteor in my hands. As far as the equipment is concerned, now there was some questions as far as which direction I was going to go. One of them was not on the cockpit equipment. This is a tier 7 premium. You've only got 2 options. You're not going to put cockpit armor on here. You want the sight. Get your accuracy built up as much as possible. My question, though, was on the overall equipment for the airframe and the engine. Did I want to do like 1 speed and 1 maneuverability? Did I want to go all in on speed? I decided to go all in on speed. I do have improved polished skin on the airframe here. And, helping the cruise speed, helping the acceleration while diving. Helped me get away from some planes like that P-51D. I probably could have gotten away from a little bit better if I was diving at a better angle. Advanced upgraded engine. I had this in my depot, so I tossed it in here. My question was, do I do the upgraded engine, or instead of that, would I put in here the boost system? I'm probably, or I might put the boost system in once I've specialized this plane. I'm either going to put the boost system in or the lightweight power unit. We'll see which direction I decide to go for the last slot. The reason I went with the upgraded engine is because this plane has 8 seconds of boost. And the boost injection system is going to take away seconds of boost. Yeah, it makes the boost more effective, but I'd rather have 8 seconds worth of boost, at least with an unspecialized plane. I might reassess once I specialize this plane, and at this rate, I'm going to try to specialize it pretty quickly because it's been a crap ton of fun. Just 2 battles in, I'm kind of mind blown. This is, of all the years I've been playing World of Warplanes, just looking at this plane on paper, it's kind of disappointing. and so it was never on my must-have list. Let's take a quick look and compare some of the numbers here. As far as the paint shop is concerned, this plane does come with a cruise speed boosted paint, so 3% boost to the cruise speed. If I was in my try-hardiest of try-hard modes, I'd still go with the concealment type paint for each season. But, you know, again, we got no real arguments. Maybe the shininess made it so the enemies didn't see me. I don't even know. Doesn't make any sense to me. Who might argue? A lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun already with this plane, and I look forward to having more fun. Thank you again to SleepyWeasal and to SgtZak for offering and allowing me to accept the first offer there. So let's go ahead and let's compare this plane to some other Tier 7 fighters, right? There are a reasonable amount of Tier 7 fighters that I've got, and so we've got, you know, kind of a whole grouping here. It's nothing like the Spitfire. Spitfire 9 has ridiculous amount of maneuverability. And on paper, you know, just slightly worse altitude performance and, you know, reasonably less airspeed. Something like, okay, so you say, okay, well, yeah, why are you comparing it to a turn fighter? Let's compare it to an altitude fighter. Well, let's look at the BF-109G. The BF-109G on paper has the same airspeed, much better maneuverability, and much better altitude performance. So that's a little scary. And that's what I meant by, like, on paper. I was like, I'm not gonna, you know, Meteor's not on my to-do list. But let's see why the airspeed number might be the same. And, or even close to the same. Your overall cruise speed is the same on the BF-109G and the Meteor. It's to be expected, I suppose. Your boost speed is 450 miles an hour. And your maximum dive speed is 540. Your actual boost speed with the Meteor says the boost speed's 435 miles an hour. We were saying I was getting it higher than that, right? The maximum dive speed is 559 miles an hour, so you've got more dive speed availability on the Meteor. And keep in mind, I haven't fully upgraded the equipment on the Meteor, so obviously the speed's going to get a little bit higher as you know, as I add more equipment to it or buff that equipment. But on paper, you're looking at these and going, is the Meteor anything special? But that's the catch. It's not just about that basic number, and I should have known this sooner rather than later. Let's compare the Meteor to something like the 302. 302, which I've posted multiple videos on, actually has barely better airspeed, and I've got this plane specialized to the 9s. The 302 is just maxed for airspeed. Its airspeed's barely better than a not maximized Meteor. What is that? And we all know the 302 can get to some ridiculous top speeds. Well, that's the kicker. This number here is not just based on how freaking fast the plane can go. It's taking into account, the cruise speed and the boost duration. So things like that are going to negatively impact or positively impact the overall airspeed number. Nobody's going to say a 302 is slow. The fact of the matter, it is slow if you're not using your boost, but you're always using your boost in the 302, so it's never slow. Does that make sense? The Meteor is not that extreme. It's not 302 extreme, but it's certainly faster than its base number would imply. The biggest negativity to the Meteor that I'm finding is honestly its altitude performance. A couple times I was up in the yellow altitude. I was at a high enough speed where it wasn't overly affecting me, but I could see future engagements where I get into a higher altitude bracket because I need to, and it negatively impacting my maneuverability and airspeed to a point that I actually get myself killed. So that's something that's a little disappointing as far as the plane itself is concerned. But a lot of things are made up by really good guns. And this plane has really good guns. Let's actually compare this plane's guns. I've been told that it is on par with a Vampire. And it sure as heck is, isn't it? You have the same 20mm Mark Vs that you have on the Vampire. And the Vampire, even at tier 8, are very strong tier 8 20mm cannons. There's a lot to be said about them being centrally located for ease of accuracy and ease of getting those guns on target. And so the Meteor at tier 7 has tier 8 cannons that are still effective in tier 9 battles. That goes a long, long way to being an effective plane. If you're able to just kill everything before they can react, that can be incredibly beneficial. That being said, I've been lucky these 2 battles. No doubt that the pilots that I was going against were not going out of their way to get me. That P-51D was, at the end, obviously fighting against me a lot better than he was in the beginning. But you can see me getting my guns on target allowed me to knock out wings, knock out engines, take him down as far as damage is concerned, which would typically in battle allow for my friends to knock him out. If it was still in the middle of the battle, the engagement that I had at the very end wouldn't have been the same. I wouldn't have turned around as quickly on him, trying to just keep it engaged in that one sector. But my point is, if a enemy pilot wants to be a pain in your butt, it can happen. This plane's got a lot of speed, but it's not the absolute fastest thing out there. And obviously it can be outturned and doesn't have the best altitude performance. It does feel very much like a mixture between a Vampire and a P228, but downgraded, obviously. I'm really enjoying this plane. Thank you so much. Again, I can't thank you enough to both SleepyWeasal and SgtZak. Zach, by the way, reach out to me and I want to make sure that you got your refund on that. Really does mean a lot to me. The part that means a lot to me, honestly, is knowing that I'm having some sort of positive impact on the community. That somebody is getting some beneficial information from either my reviews or my gameplay or from my live streams. It goes away a long ways towards my good mental health, so I appreciate the feedback and the reinforcement. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed these 2 battles. I'm going to hop into some more battles in the Meteor here and see what kind of trouble I can get myself into. I hope you have a great day. Bye.